Game number one, everybody, is about to start, and our draft is starting. Today, as in the game before, no webcam because it's pretty hot in Germany right now, 36 degrees where I live. That alone wouldn't really be the problem, but unfortunately the sun is circling around the small room in which my studio is set up at this time, and therefore it's more or less like a sauna. If I would also turn on the webcam and the lights in here, it would make things even worse. So yeah, at this point it at least allows me to stream shirtless. So you're watching a shirtless stream right now. You can't see me, but still. We have the second semifinal, and we have 1-3-1, which is basically, I think they have three Polish, like they have one French player, three Polish players, and a Russian player, which explains the name. So it's a bit one of those setup team names. And we have two Bs determined. So Adiardi's team, they changed their name slightly. We have today the Stormcraft drafting tool. And at this point, right now, we're currently having a ban on Tyrael, which is more or less like the one of the most common bans these days, I want to say. And we're also seeing right now a Li Ming being banned out, which is a bit interesting considering that she's not really the most valuable hero necessarily on Infernal Shrines. Oftentimes you would expect a Falstad ban maybe here, especially since TBD is currently attempting to go for Sylvanas first of all. Keep in mind that this is also a team that has played Butcher and also heroes like, for example, Medivh quite a bit during the regional finals, so we could actually see that once again. And right now we have first pick on the side, the next pick, the first two picks on the side of 1-3-1. And that could, I expect Falstad. And Falstad is indeed taken. So the question is just simply, what do you pick with Falstad in the setup right now? Because we have seen a couple of different approaches to this map, and Arthur's is again taken. This is actually something that has been claimed already earlier as one of the earlier picks. So in one of the, I think it was a quarter-final if I'm not mistaken there. But yeah, so 1-3-1 is going for that start into the draft. Arthur's of course great when it comes to taking position on the shrines, and his Frozen Tempest is dishing out the area damage that you need to just like secure some of those minions for yourself. TBD, they can play quite a few of interesting drafts. Yeah, we've seen them with Cho'Gall, we've seen them with Medivh, and Medivh it is. Medivh already locked down, and that can now be a lot of fun there. They love to play Kerrigan, by the way. Like, Kerrigan is really one of the heroes that they've been relying on a lot in the past. They love to play Kerrigan drafts on maps like Battlefield of Eternity, but they've also played it quite a bit on this one here. So, personally, I'm a little bit curious to see if they use that Kerrigan now. Medivh, with his Will of Force, can definitely make quite a bit happen with a Kerrigan if she, like, just keeping her alive during a burst moment is all that you really need to do, especially if you're committing to a double support setup right now. Medivh being more of utility support than anything else there. Not really classified as one, but still. He can do that job with the Will of Force. So TBD actually like waiting a long time for that next one that they're currently locking in here. I could still see that Kerrigan. I wouldn't mind. I really love that Kerrigan play. It's hyper aggressive, and that's something that I think is absolutely awesome. Whoa! They go Nova! What? They go Nova? You gotta be kidding me. Oh, ADRD, I love you. This guy just drafted Nova Medivh. I'm not 100% certain why you would actually go into a Nova this early. I mean, it's not like she's going to be picked away. And it's not Nova. Oh, it's Oriel. It's actually Oriel. Ah, now I'm a sad panda. They immediately said it in one of the chats, and I said, like, guys, it's not Nova. It's actually Oriel. Is Oriel not in the list of heroes? She might not be. Yeah, Oriel is actually not added to that hero pool on the drafting tool. That's why they had to go for something else. So they draft. Oh my god. Hopes were crushed. Hopes and dreams crushed. I mean, I'm happy about the Medivh alone already, bro. But still, like, that Nova would have been beautiful. Okay, so we have an Oriel. The Oriel has been taken over the... instead of the Nova. It's just like a substitute, so to say, since Oriel hasn't been added to the drafting tool just yet. And when it comes to the bans, Kerrigan is banned out. I still would have loved to see Kerrigan being played by ADRD and his boys, because, as I said before, he's absolutely amazing with that. And well, at this point, we are already seeing the ban on Tychus. And that was a very popular pick in all of the recent games that we've seen on Infernal Shrines. But now for 1-3-1, the question is, first of all, A, do you pick the Rhaegar? That's question number one. B, do you pick a double front line? And if you do, when you go for lockdown, will you add that Jaina for the additional damage? That's basically what we're still waiting for right now. So we have seen already earlier the Arthur's plus ETC combo. Just give one example. You still have a Muradin around here as well. If you want to have a strong frontline presence, a double tank can be strong. You can also play, of course, that Sonya here. That's definitely another option. And at the same point, there's the Rhaegar as expected, but still, the next one is the one that really matters in my opinion. Are you going to go for a Sonya? Do you try and go simply for another frontliner? Because if you go for a tank, then this is like the best chance to really make that play, since we don't have TBD with a tank just yet. So you could try and limit their options a little bit more. There's of course a few things that will also synergize with all of this, but yeah, I would actually like them to go into a Sonya or a Thrall at this point. I really feel like they can make a couple of plays with this. But let's see. The setup that they have so far is already good. Same synergy with the Rhaegar and the Arthurs as earlier. You have Frozen Tempest and the Lightning Shield. You get max value out of positioning yourself on the shrine. If you have some other melee hero next to you that can really help you out a little bit, that would be great. And additional stuns in particular are, of course, awesome, since you can follow up after the Howling Blast with a second stun or vice versa. And there it is. I like it. We have Muradin now in play, so super heavy frontline. They have the stuns that they need to lock a target down. Of course, with a force of will against them, this is one of those tools that can be used to just like deny that to a certain extent. And, well, we have at the same time now TBD with the next two picks. Because with this, with Auriel, again, the Nova picture that you see, they don't get too excited. It's actually Auriel that is being played here. So Auriel plus Medivh, we need a front line for them. We could see... Ah, they play the Butcher again. They actually play the Butcher again like they did at the regionals. Guys, this is not a replacement. I can promise you that much. Butcher has been played by them several times at the regionals, and they are going to play it again right here, and it is awesome. Butcher, Auriel, Medivh, Sylvanas. Maybe an Anubarak at that front line. Who are they picking to just make sure that they can go deep with this? I'm not sure if that's going to be an ETC pick. I would say Anubarak, maybe even a Diablo if they want to even be more hyper-aggressive with this entire setup. But with AD-RD, you never know. I mean, like, they could even just, like, say, screw it and be... There's the Leoric. All right, so they go for Leoric right now, and this is going to be absolutely fantastic. Didn't really expect the Leoric here necessarily, but it's of course great to trap heroes even more. But I like what we're seeing here right now. And how is 131 reacting to it? They need damage. Could see them still with that Jaina. I could still see them with Jaina in this setup here. They have the cleanse against the Butcher. They have lockdown. They could try and capitalize on it. With Burst, they go a completely different route, though. Heavy frontline setup with an Illidan complementing the rest of the team composition. I like it. Game number 1, the Mad Scientist and his boys, they drafted a Butcher comp with Auriel and Medivh, and we are going into our first game on Infernal Shrines here at the ZOTAC Cup Semifinal. Game number 1 in the semifinal, everybody. 2Bs determined are playing versus 131. And we have a pretty sick combo to the left side of the map. A Blade on the Butcher. A hero that has been played several times already by the Bees, especially at the EU Regional Final, where they also played the hero, which is actually kind of fantastic. We're having Smexy on Leoric. And Smexy, of course, a Fnatic player, but apparently they needed a substitute player here. And Smexy was available, so the Bees are today playing with a sub player. AD-RD on Medivh, Nasty on Sylvanas, and Curson on Auriel. In the draft tool, Auriel as a hero picture wasn't available, and therefore they picked Nova as a replacement, as a substitute. So don't be confused, there's no actual Nova in this game. Nova was just the replacement for the Auriel pick. To the right side of the map, 131 with Nehi on Falstead, Unstable on Rhaegar, Sphyxy on Illidan, Costa on Arthas, and Andy Lendi on Muradin. 131, a team name that just indicates the nationality of the players. There's 1 French guy, 3 Russians, and 1 Polish player. Level 1 for the Butcher. Invigoration already taken here. The cooldown reduction is what you oftentimes look at. That's the most important part about it. We have also at the same time Paralysis and the Stable Portal now being used. And increasing clarity. interesting talent already to be taken here. We're going to talk about that in a moment. First of all, we're seeing the Butcher charging in. Wants fresh meat, but Blade doesn't get it just yet. Medivh is the one starting to move to the top lane. So the increasing clarity is once again focusing, of course, on the Sacred Sweep. But in this case, it is not the Swift Sweep that we usually see on level 1. But it's more about like damage increase that you're trying to go for. So it's not quite exactly what we've seen in the games before, but this time we have also a different player using the hero here, which of course accounts for a few of those adjustments. Oriel is still very, very new to the competitive scene, and that's why a lot of the teams and players are still just attempting to find out what's the best way to play her in this case. So already a bit of a different approach from, I wanted to say Smexy, but Smexy is actually on Leoric, my bad, on Curson. So yeah, sorry, I kind of misread that a little bit. Smexy, of course, usually a support player, which is why my brain immediately jumped on Smexy playing the support, but he is on Leoric this time. And let's see how he's gonna pull that off. Curson, on the other hand, still making those adjustments that I've been talking about on his Oriel play. So it could be a completely different build. Normally we see the focus on the Sacred Sweep on 1, 4, and 13. Maybe he has a different approach to the play entirely. Season Marksman taken on the side of Falstad. We're seeing still the immolation for Illidan. We have block on Arthur's side. A little bit worried about all of this. And in this case, Medivh on his AD/RD is also going to be another one of the heroes that we have to watch out for during this match. He is absolutely fantastic when it comes to his Medivh play, and one of the big assets that we have oftentimes on the side of To Be Determined is how nicely they coordinate around the portal. And that's something that we might see here now as well. So in this case, we're also going to watch out for how much damage ADR is going to be able to dish out during this game, especially once that he has the Master's Touch, which is a talent with which he can wreak a lot of havoc here. For now, it's the Bird Eye View. We're also seeing them just jumping straight for that first shrine once again. The Butcher with the Flail Axe for the hamstring increase, and Blade is already getting solid value. Here's the portal as one of the escape mechanisms, but look how low unstable Andilandian's Fixie already are. They are in trouble, and they know it. ADRD still zoning a little bit, getting the extra damage in the entire time. Has also the Will of Force, of course. Oh, sorry, the Force of Will that he can use whenever need be to make sure that he's just getting a little bit more safety for heroes like the Butcher. I mean, one of the things that you're really worried about when you're playing the Butcher is, of course, that he could end up in some kind of stun lock. And we have Reverberation against him, we have Holding Blast, we have also the Frozen Tempest, as at the same time, then again, the additional stun with the Stormbolt for Muradin. And all these tools can more or less be denied by a really good Will of Force. And that is, of course, something that they are going to attempt to use here. For now, on the other hand, we're seeing again the Punisher, the first one taken, and Sylvanas is going to add her value by disabling the structures. Blade can always try to go for one of the backline heroes if he sees an opening, and if they do, they will use it, especially with Nasty having the opportunity to disable the structures here. Andilendi already jumping back, Howling Blast is in, Blade just poking with his hamstring the entire time, using that massive cleaver there to just like slam them into the ground. They are taking a slight lead here. Nothing too crazy just yet, but in the mid lane, Blade is now attempting to get a little bit more damage in. Illidan on the chase, already locked down for a second thanks to the onslaught. The mini stun is there. Portal now being used too, and Nasty is being pretty nasty on his Sylvanas at this point, with Oriel just healing everybody up over and over again. With both of the teams starting to slowly and steadily come in onto level 7 talents, let's take a quick look at what's happening so far. Oriel still with the increasing clarity, starting to get that quest talent here. The Majestic Span still taken on level 4, more of a common talent that we have right now. So right now it really feels like we're seeing Curson play a bit more of a style where he's attempting to have more of an impact when it comes to the fights itself and getting just the additional damage out there. It's also, of course, doing quite a little bit of work if you can make that happen, just so that you get additional wave clear in those shrine fights in particular. The level 7 talents are now in play, and that gives us the Abattoir again. And with that, we have now the fresh meat stacks increase. Master's Touch is what you would expect here, and ADRD, of course, does not disappoint. He uses it right away. The Paralyzing Rage already taken, and the Barbed Shot, with still a bit of hesitance on the side of Curson's Oriel, not taking anything just yet. Muradin with the Reverberation build going into the Thunderclap on 1-4, will add the 13 with the Healing Static then later on, and the Iron Forge Momentum. Hunter's Onslaught also taken here, and we have the second Punisher ready to be fought over. The level 7 talent for Oriel, still not taken, but now this is a time where Medivh is going to start his own stacking process. And there we have it. Bursting Light taken. The cooldown reduction in this case. Going for the cooldown reduction so he can spam that out a little bit more often. We've seen all kinds of level 7 talents taken today, so this is really one of the most flexible talents for Oriel. Costa in trouble, Costa in trouble. There's the portal and the kill. The Butcher coming through into the backlines. Fixie also low, but Kirsten is being attacked, and this is the end of Oriel. Blade is there though with the onslaught, and Rhaegar is about to be eliminated. Andy Lendy attempting to get away. AD just using the Master's Touch whenever he can to get that stacking going. And so far is actually doing a very solid job here. And once more the portal action happening immediately. A double kill leading into the game for 2Bs determined. They're doing fairly well here, and 1-3-1 is about to lose another Punisher if they're not careful here, and that could of course lead into a fort being destroyed. Top lane is also still pushing. It was a great time that we saw on that Shaman camp that was taken by them. Blade, on the other hand, now is finding himself in trouble. Kirsten comes back. Nice move by him, pushing the opponent away, saving Blade on his Butcher. Now we have the secured Punisher, and another kill as Arthur's is being taken down. The level 10 is so close, and they get it thanks to the fort at the top lane immediately eliminated by the camp. Great job here. Mid lane now completely open. Level 10 talents in play, and we have the ley line seal taken again. Also March of the Black King for Smexy style, who's going into that Drain Hope build and doing very well with it thus far. The Crystal Aegis has been chosen here. We're seeing with the Master Touch here right now already more than halfway completed. The Arcane Rifts that AD is spamming out are incredibly strong and doing a solid amount of work here. He's absolutely fantastic on the hero, and he has shown that at the regional finals, where they took several games off some of the European top teams, and they are just one of those wild cards that you can never really predict. There it is, the kill! Blade, Fresh Meat, goes in, tries to get Nahi down too, but he has to be happy with the kill against Muradin, the only one that he got thus far. Using the Lamb to the Slaughter here to lock him down, and just look at the value. They go with a second Punisher for the keep. There's heal! Nice heal on Sylvanas. There comes Illidan. Fixie, he wants to get the kills in, but he's dropping immediately. Blade is going in deep once again, and Oriel is able to just heal everybody over and over and over again. Arthur's is dead, and that's another 5 versus 4. Medivh is falling. Finally a kill against the Bees. But so far, it doesn't really look like 1-3-1 is going to be able to snowball that properly. Maybe with Illidan, they can now start to take a few more targets down. Smexy, Wraith walking, but he's also dead. When we're looking at the stats, on the other hand, then we have currently the Butcher on 20,000 damage. We're seeing in terms of heals 19,000 for Rhaegar, but just take a closer look at that Oriel. 21, nearly 22,000 on her as well now. So she's been doing an exceptional job in all these fights, especially, of course, as clumped up as they oftentimes were against the lack of AoE that we see for the team in red. That was one of the moves where Oriel can get massive value. And I have to highlight it again. I said it before. When it comes to team coordination and also just like using the map, this is where really the Bees excel. When they use portals as one, when they clump up for Oriel to get the heals in, they're doing exceptional work. Once again, Mighty Gus, but Unstable is in trouble. He's on the wrong side of the map now too. Nearly the kill against Blade. He survives. The ley line seal was perfect. Once more, Blade goes in, gets the damage in. He dies, but it's a double kill against the red team, against 1-3-1. Maybe a triple as Fixie is now going deep again, but he is falling on his Illidan. Very well done. And the Butcher nearly falling so often. The ley line seal saving him. Then even the Force of Will being used once again. Perfect play here on the side of AD and his boys. They have the level 13 talent now, which gives us the quickening with a cooldown reduction on the portal. We're having also the blinding flash, as expected, on Oriel. Crushing Hope, and the Butcher, what is he going to go for? In this case, he doesn't even need something like a Spell Shield taken on a level 13. There's nothing really that can threaten him in this case. And he has definitely quite a bit of options of what he could go for. Even additional AoE is, of course, another one. But no, he goes into the speed bonus with a Crave Flash, so he can really chase targets down very easily. 39 stacks already taken. They take the last one as the team assembles once again. The level 13 talent, a massive asset for them. But just look at the damage output on the side of AD. With his Master first touch completed and his Arcane Rift just like spamming through the entire time. He's at 30,000 damage. 30,000 damage right now. He's in an insane position here. And this is just fantastic for them. We're having them with nearly the same amount of damage also on Leoric thanks to the Drain Hope. I mean, he has fantastic targets at that front line. Smexy can use it to just like crush the hopes of Muradin, of Arthas. It's so much damage, both high hit point tanks, and right now it is again Sylvanas with a value. Nehi ready for a quick move with that mighty gas, but already the Leyline Seal being used here. Illidan jumps in, he wants to get the kills. We have at least the kill against Rhaegar, and that is maybe the beginning of the end. Portals being used for escape mechanisms, that's the end of Arthas. It's a double kill against them. Blade finally falls, at least he is dead, but they still have to deal with the rest of the team, and Sphyxy cannot survive long enough to give his team a fighting chance here. Andy Lendi is also alone amongst a lot of opponents, and Muradin taken down now by another Arcane Rift thrown out by ADRD. Incredible play here once again. 16 versus 13 in talents. They go through the keep like it's nothing. We have in this case again the ability power with the Wrath of Heaven. They don't even try to go for the core here. They just move back. There's up at the top lane still a little bit of pressure against their own fort, but they haven't really lost the fort yet. There's also now the Unyielding Despair chosen. We have the Reabsorption taken on top of it too, which makes ADRD even more dangerous, especially in combination with that Butcher, who has so far done a solid amount of work. Yes, the Butcher, going into Enraged right now, hasn't really been the hero who has done the most damage, but he's the one who just like threatens the opponent the entire time. That onslaught, that focus, and especially with the lack of stuns that we are seeing on the opponent's side, the lockdown that you have also with the Lamb of the Slaughter, just with the damage output against the backline, against heroes like Rhaegar, together with the Will of Force, and on top of it now too, of course, the Reabsorption, the Force of Will. Sorry guys, sometimes it's really, like, sometimes that naming on Blizzard's side is a little bit weird. I think I threw that actually like off a couple of times here already, but Force of Will is being used in this case. Wave of Force, not Will of Force, that's the one that we see on Li Ming. Sometimes this is a little bit confusing, but yeah, so with the Force of Will now taken right now, and the Reabsorption as the talent on Force of Will on level 16, the Butcher is becoming even more of a threat, because, yeah, and there we go again. Going straight for Unstable here. Actually had to cancel that, didn't really want to extend too much. And this is actually something I have to compliment Blade for. He is not afraid to cancel such a high cooldown ability if he really sees that he's not maybe getting the necessary value out of the approach. Because if he just goes in too deep and all of a sudden they are getting flanked and he dies, then they are in a really tough spot. So Blade playing really a smart move with that Butcher. It's one of those snowball heroes that oftentimes allows you to just completely annihilate an opponent early on and then snowball it into the late game. But if you want to make sure that you can keep that momentum, then you need to make sure that you're not making stupid decisions later on. Great move. Lamb to the slaughter. Rhaegar is dead. 16 versus 16 talents. Look at that portal value once again. The portal is dropped, and as one, they move through it immediately. Leyline Seal also used. Arthur's lockdown, and bam! Eat this. Great play here. Yeah, with that, they can... Are they going for core here? Actually looks like they will. They are about to go for the core in this setup. Arthas, by the way, has now taken, after the Frigid Winds, also the Remorseless Winter, but doesn't really help him. Oriel, by the way, 24,000 damage thanks to the completed quest talent that she has. Once again, the portals on point to put pressure on Nehi, and they get another double kill. Muradin is dead, and so is Illidan. They just simply go for it. ADRD has 52,000 damage thanks to the Arcane Rifts. He is just incredible. His use of Medivh is fantastic, and it gives them game number one. Great play here throughout the entire lineup. Well done here by the Bees. Two Bees determined. They take down on the first map 1-3-1 and take the lead in the best of 3 series. Draft number 2, ladies and gentlemen. So we have once again 1-3-1 versus the two Bees determined. Thank you very much for the resub, Baron. Cheers for that, bro. It's appreciated. But yeah, so with the game starting here, it looks actually like we have Oriel in the draft. I mean, there's currently a spot for her that can be used for that. Apparently, there was a bit of a bug with the draft tool earlier, which forced then TBD to pick the Nova instead, to just indicate that they have a hero picked here. 1-3-1 after the last game is banning out Medivh, and let's be honest for a moment, can we really just like say that surprises us? At least I personally cannot, because it's one of those picks where you just, or one of those bans where you say like, yeah, of course, after Medivh did not only give massive value to heroes like the Butcher in the last game, but also got the top damage of the team, it kind of makes sense to ban him out against ADRD. You're not drafting against a normal team here, you're drafting against ADRD, the mad scientist. So yeah, you have to adjust a little bit. And that is what 1-3-1 is attempting to do now. So TBD, how are they going to start things up here? We are on Battlefield of Eternity, so when it comes to like bans, are they going to ban out Tyrael or do they let him go? There is, of course, the chance that your opponent is picking that Sylvanas. And so far, TBD has picked Sylvanas every step of the way. Every time we saw them, you went for Sylvanas, they get a lot of value with her, and they might try and do that once again. So this is the question right now. What do you ban out? They banned Falstad, so Tyrael and Sylvanas are still there. Keep in mind that I already explained earlier that TBD loves to play Karrigan here. Tyrael immediately taken. This could be a Karrigan and Sylvanas pick on the side of TBD now. They love to play their Karrigan on Battlefield of Eternity, and it might be what they're doing now. Of course, having the Tyrael against you is changing the pace of it a little bit. There's the Sylvanas as expected. Now the question, what is TBD going to choose as the second hero? Are they committing to... No, they don't. They commit to a Liming instead. No Karrigan for them right now, just playing the poke battle a little bit. But if you have the Tyrael, then you can start to really go into those melee-heavy engage compositions, and that is something that 1-3-1 could do right now. Of course, with the changes to Greymane, he is currently not played off. Oh, he's not really prioritized as much as he was before, but in the few cases where we have him played, it looked more like a focus on the cocktail build than anything else. Shocks, thank you very much for the resub as well. 18 months too, thank you, bro. And let's see how exactly this is gonna continue with the Tyrael pick at first. I mean, right now you can still go into that Greymane. You can go into anything that really just tries and capitalize on momentum. And they built Illidan compositions already on the last map, so it could also that they are trying to go for an Illidan then later on in the game. After this double pick, we're going to go into bans. So that might be a moment where TBD is thinking about simply going for a ban on Illidan, if they are afraid that Sphyxy could play them again. And when we're talking about Sphyxy, he's also one of the players, of course, that played Greymane for a long time. They're really running down their time pool here now on top of that too. So that is interesting. I mean, right now? Yeah, I'm a little bit like curious. Okay, there's the Greymane. So we're going to see the Greymane build. What's going to be the next pick, though? I mean, with Greymane already taken, this is pretty much like one of the heroes where we already know, okay, Sphyxy is going to play that right now. And with Sphyxy focusing on the Greymane play, there's quite a few things that they can now start and pull off with this as well. They can go into that Sanctification with Greymane, Momentum Rush. They can even add another hero at the front line. Question is definitely what kind of build is Greymane going to use here right now. That's actually something that I'm personally quite excited for. They have also now the option to just combo the Sanctification with a simple move going straight into Sanctification together with the Mosh Pit. Basically the poor man's Divine Shield, that's what you sometimes can call the Sanctification, since this is oftentimes what we're actually seeing. You're using the Divine or you're using the Sanctification as a Divine Shield replacement just to make sure that nobody can interrupt the Mosh Pit of ETC. TBD, they can still think about, like, maybe... I mean, there's a couple of things that you have to consider right now. A, which healer do you ban, if you ban one? If you don't ban a healer, what else are you going for? Are you, for example, just simply attempting to, let's say, ban out... Okay, they banned the Tyrande? That's actually interesting. I would have expected them to go for Tyrande. They played that hero on this map so often. ADRD played it, actually. So if ADRD does not play the Tyrande, what is he gonna play? Don't tell me he's playing a normal hero. That does not make sense. Doesn't compute. Something crazy is about to happen. It always happens with him, so that wouldn't really be a big shock. But yeah, what do you ban out if you're 1-3-1 right now? Maybe a frontliner. So Nova apparently going for Oriel again. So okay, they ban out Oriel. So that's fine. So Nova, the indicator again for Oriel. That's okay. And TBD, they still need their... It's actually funny. Think about it. They actually ban... Is that actually like a Nova ban? Because how does this make sense? You are so afraid of Oriel that you ban her out and simply say, okay, you take Rhaegar, we still have something that we can get. So yeah, they go for the Oriel ban. We are just assuming for now that this is Oriel again. And immediately Rhaegar is locked down. That leaves Karazim, maybe even something along the lines of... Yeah, it could still be Usa actually. I would say it's Karazim though for 1-3-1. But what is TBD going to do right now? They still need their front line. They don't have anything just yet. And they go for the Stitches. Alright. So they add the Stitches to the setup. They don't really have a lockdown after that. Stitches is hanging just a bit in there. I mean, Stitches is good in the sense that if you are starting to have the poke battle in the middle of the map, Stitches has a free shot at getting good hooks in. But you usually want to have someone that can lock the hook target down. And maybe we're going to see something like a Thrall. Thrall can do that. He has that Wolf. You can even follow up with a Sundering if you really need to. It's not really common, but like if worse comes to worse, you can actually do that. There's a Tracer Tassadar for 1-3-1. Alright, shit just got real. We have Tracer Tassadar with a Greymane in play, and how is TBD going to react to this? These drafts between the two teams are really starting to become quite a bit of fun. I'm liking that. So yeah, how is that going to play out for them right now? They need someone that can kind of deal with it a little bit. I mean, like, and they have another hero that can give Tracer some grief. This is, by the way, also a Tassadar solo, right? Keep that in mind. They have Tassadar shields, but also, in addition to that, they could go groupies with Prog Rock, maybe even on ETC, and they have the shields on Tassadar, on Tyrael and Tassadar. So they have a lot of sustain there. And it's a Brightwing. Double support. But this can't really be a Bloodlust comp. I was really hoping for Bloodlust, but not with this particular setup here. I guess we're going to see Emerald Wind, Ancestral Healing. But this is an interesting setup. Like a Brightwing against Tracer picked even after Rhaegar was already locked in. Like, this is a really interesting comp. So guys, we're going to go into the next game. We have a Brightwing Rhaegar composition against Tracer Tassadar with a Greymane. Like, what? Battlefield of Eternity, map number 2. Let's check out how this game is gonna go for the two teams, because this is definitely a pretty fun setup that we're currently looking at now. So yeah, game coming up now. Here's the ZOTAC Cup Monthly Final on Battlefield of Eternity. Game number 2, we have the 1-0 lead in the series for the Bees, for 2 Bees determined. And guys, we have a solo tank double support. That in itself isn't really a statement where you're saying like, yeah, what's crazy about that? The one thing that is a little bit weird about it is that the double support does not include a Tassadar, nor does it include a Tyrande. It's actually a Rhaegar and Brightwing combo. Blade on Stitches right now. Interesting to see, considering that he actually played Butcher on the last game. He's usually one of the assassin players. Curson on Brightwing. Smexy as a substitute player here today on Rhaegar. Nasty on Liming. And ADRD is playing Sylvanas. Not the comp that we necessarily expected, but a cool one indeed. And we have Tracer Tassadar on the opponent's side. Nehi on Greymane, Unstable on Tassadar. Andy Lendy on Tyrael. Costa on ETC. And Sphyxy is playing Tracer. And we were talking about the solo support Tassadar, and the one thing that I feel we really need to point out is that there's of course the value of the potential groupies on level 13 to consider, and also the shields of Tyrael himself. So definitely something to point out. Also, with a setup that is being run right now by 2B's Determined, we're actually seeing Stitches going into a slam build right away. Not adding any of the sustain talents, at least not for now. We're having Lightning Bond and the Unfurling Spray taken. So that's a lot of heal, a lot of sustain during these fights that we have. And nice damage, of course, from the backline too, especially since we also see the Ether Walk taken by Nasty, who will go into Calamity. So Ether Walk is a talent that you nearly exclusively see on this map, since you get the cooldown reduction, and then you can just like simply use Calamity to put extra damage in. ID already survives, and ETC dies. The cow is down. There's beef for dinner. We're going to have burgers on a barbecue since ETC, as the first victim in the game, has currently just dropped the ball there. Another hook, this time against Sphyxy, who is currently running that Tracer. That also, of course, means that Greymane is... Please. Greymane is currently being run at the top lane here. Actually, no, sorry, still at the bot lane. Greymane currently played by Nehi, and we have Greymane with the Wolfheart as the level 1 talent. So not that cocktail focus that we've seen from some players, especially on their personal streams in the past. A lot of them, of course, still tinkering around with the potential Greymane plays that they could play and that they could use here. Tracer herself on level 1 going into the Tracer rounds for the Revelation, trying to make sure that they have a little bit more vision. And again, the cow is being attacked. Even more beef. That's going to be a massive barbecue. Like, they are not going to be having a 5-man barbecue here. They can actually invite the neighbors if that continues. ETC dead for the second time already. So, yep, the cow is down and the race is on. Greymane together with Tracer, just like waiting. They're going for the race here, especially since ETC is dead. They're currently just like trying to burst it down as fast as they can. And let's see who's taking it. Both teams not even level 4, by the way. Both of them. So at this point, we are currently having a win for the red team. Yep, and that means that ADRD and his boys can once again get that Sylvanas value. I really feel it's one of the things that I've said like the most when I cast ADRD's game, Sylvanas value. It's like you sound like a broken record talking about it, but it's just simply what they're aiming for. They have also again the Pure Ground. Arcane Barrage now being used as well. Brightwing currently looking for friends at the bot lane, not fighting anything. But with that ETC falling twice already, it could be that Brightwing is just simply trying to get a little bit more meat for the barbecue. So we have also Triumvirate now taken, Withering Barrage after the Overflowing Quiver. ADRD going full Q build. It's also called the lazy build. Oh, we're going to talk about it in a moment. Hook again against Tacita. Unstable is moving away here. But you can tell that Brightwing jumping out to the top lane is just trying to help out pushing this through. And ETC is moving in with a slide. The damage. What? Nasty is down. That was perfect coordination. I'm going to be a devil's advocate here. And I'm going to... Oh my god. Costa Cadares. Double kill. It's a triple, baby, as they take down not only the fort but 3 heroes. The slide was timed perfectly with the ult on Tracer. I'm not quite sure if that was intentional, but it definitely had the desired effect. Massive amount of damage here on Tracer's sides there, and they could take at least 1 kill. The problem is that even after taking down Li Ming, they still exploded. It's now 5 kills versus 1. Level 7 talents with a toxic gas, with a Mystified here. And we have also Cleanse, Calamity, and Barb Shot. As I said, the Q focus, it's basically the lazy build. If you have a small paperweight at home, play this build, drop the paperweight onto your Q, and then just run around the Sylvanas. It's a little bit like reminiscent of playing Li Ming. That's kind of what you do. So you're just like trying to go through with the Q. If you're really good on her, you're of course going to time that a little bit different. It's not as easy as usually pressing the button down. But even if you do it, there's very little that you do wrong with it. You will still get value out of it. You won't play the best Sylvanas in the history of Heroes of the Storm, but you will still be decent there. So right now we have the Leeching Plasma. That's usually when Tracer at least starts to get a little bit of value out of it. But let's face it, this is so far not looking great for the red team. And keep in mind, they are 1 game down in the best of 3 already as is. So right now, we're having ETC down at the bot lane. He's very, very motivated to actually get something done here. And, well, up to the top, Brightwing. Currently has no friends. Curson is still there. Brightwing is looking for a couple of bananas. This is one of the best skins in the game, by the way, just like saying. It's like the Hero League monkey incarnated. That's basically what Curson is playing here right now. So yeah, he's going full monkey for now. And we're having at the same time Tracer also going into the jumper with the blink charges down here. The fight is continuing. Nasty in a bit of trouble for a moment. Pre-shields are ongoing, but even more beef for the barbecue. Like, basically, ADRD and his boys, they are currently playing a massive, massive party. That's what they're doing right now. They have ETC taken out... was that the 4th time? I think it was the 4th time. I'm just going to claim it was the 4th time. I'm not going to even look it up. So, yeah, 4th time, ETC taken down. It is just like barbecue time. I actually don't even know how they're going to eat all of that, because there's so much beef on the table right now. What if someone just wants chicken? There's not even a full set in here. Greymane is already getting pretty jealous because he says, like, guys, I want some too, but I'm on the same team. I can't grieve and take him down, so what am I going to do right now? I'm actually going to starve here. Just look at that pressure play. I mean, it's level 9, nearly level, level 9.5 nearly. If they just rotate heroes around and get the next level, they're going to have level 10s even before this starts. So at this point, we're just going to start everybody starting to jump in. Yeah, there's Andy Lendy already trying to poke a little bit and see if he can maybe make a play there. But they're just running out of time. Sylvanas is getting value. Sylvanas is getting level 10. And there's just the defense going. And they have to go at some point. Andy Lendy decides that this is the time. I can only say this is not. Blade attack, but there's a double support. Tracer is down. Boom! Exploded as Nasty gets the shots in. Shots fired quite literally. And they're jumping in again. Costa! Costa is on his way back, but this is actually starting to get a little bit weird. The entire team is grieving right now. We're seeing 10 versus 8. There's the... They go blood... What? They go Bloodlust. For what? I mean, who's getting the auto attack value? I actually think at this point they're just picking Bloodlust to run a little bit faster and to look cool. I am calling it right now. We're having also the Wave of Force taken. We're seeing Wailing Arrow. We have also the Emerald Wind. No heal talents, why would you? You have a double support already, and so far stuff is just not dying against them. The hook and the kill. Tyrael is down, and they go for another keep. And oh boy, is that looking troublesome for the red team. The desperate attempt at the top lane with Fixie and Unstable to get some experience. They're currently just like trying to get some EXP because they don't even have a level 10. This is going to be a keep. We're 8 minutes in, and this is going to be a keep. At this point, they're just moving through the bot lane. They're saying, like, boys, you know what? Let's take that keep right now. And depending on if Stitches lands a good hook right now, they're gonna go core. Like, if Stitches lands a good hook and they get another kill against Costa, we're gonna see the core drop. So they are starting straight through the bot lane. We're already having them right there, and it's barbecue time again, or is it? Nope. Costa gets away the hook, and he has no escape, and boom, barbecue time. Told you. More beef for the barbecue, and they are straight moving in. I just wonder if they have a George Foreman grill or what they're using. I heard it really seals in the flavor. So right now, double kill as Tracer is down. They go for the core. This is brutal. It's absolutely brutal, ladies and gentlemen. The Bloodlust has been used. The 2-0 victory as we see 2Bs determined take down 1-3-1, and they advance to the grand final.